I am recording. Welcome back, literal rascals. We have the author, Kate McMullan, and her husband, Jim, who is sitting beside her. We can't see him right now. And what we're doing for this series is say Cheese Medusa by Kate
Please.
McMullan, who again is here with us. And she is actually going to read the prologue and start us out. So we're so excited to have her. So, alrighty, Kate, welcome again. And whenever you're ready, hit it.
Here we go. Greetings from the underworld. It's me, Hades, back again to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about a Greek myth. Why do I think you might not know the truth? Yeah, I'll spell it out for you in just 4 letters. See? Yes. My little brother Zeus is king of the gods. He's also king of the whoppers. Lies slide off his tongue as if it were big butter. Big lies, little lies, white lies, red, yellow, and blue polka dotted lies. He's a real mythomaniac. Oh, this big fat liar. And when he decided to fix up the big fat book of the big myth, all he did was add one big fat lie after another. Just look at what he did to the story of Medusa. Go on. Read it right from the pages of the big fat book for yourself. And then there's a starting. Medusa was a gorgon, a winged monster with sleeping serpent's hair. Anyone who looked upon her face was turned to stone. Perseus, bold son of the brave and mighty Zeus, waited until Medusa fell asleep, then cut off her head. That was Zeus. Not like a son of step on his picture. It didn't happen that way at all. Perseus never hacked up in his golden head. Alive as well. And last I heard, she was running a popular spa. She wasn't born with serpents spouting out of her head either. Those snakes were Athena's idea. Here, let me tell you the story of Medusa, so you'll know. You know, you'll always get the truth from me, Hades. No kidding.
Chapter 1. The cheese stands alone. It all started the very first day my queen, Persephone, had to go back up to Earth to do her goddess of the spring thing. Hades, she called, come help me close these suitcases. I headed for the bedroom with my three-headed pooch, Servius, at my heels. I stopped at the door. The room was filled with dozens of large, overstuffed suitcases. Not one of them looked as if it could close, ever. Sit on that one, will you, Hades? Persephone pointed. Bounce up and down a bit. I did. Me, the king of the underworld. It was very undignified. Bounce harder, Hades, said Persephone. Good. Got it.
Okay.
Persephone is not a goddess who travels light. She'd spent an entire week packing her dozens of robes and tunics, not to mention handbags, scarves, headbands, and girdles. Old speak for belts. But it was her oodles of sandals that put her over the edge. Luggage-wise, my dog and I both had to sit on the lids of all those bulging suitcases before she could snap them shut. Thanks, Herbie, Persephone said, when the last lock finally clicked. She patted all three of his heads. Thanks, Hades. She gave my head a pat, too. Cerberus wagged his stumpy tail. With his triple brain power, he'd figured out that all those suitcases meant Persephone was going bye-bye. He's a one-god dog and likes nothing better than having me all to himself. Persephone had promised to go up to Earth every spring. Her mother, Demeter, is the goddess of agriculture. Wheat, corn, alfalfa sprouts, you name it, Demeter or Demeter is in charge of making it grow. When Persephone told her mom she wanted to marry me and become queen of the underworld, Demeter had a fit. She swore an
Okay.
unbreakable oath on the...
Okay.
Oh. She swore an unbreakable oath on the river Styx that if Persephone lived in the underworld. All growing things on Earth would die. Well, Mother Earth, my Granny Gora, wasn't about to put up with that. There was a big court battle, and at last it was decided that Persephone could only be my part-time queen. Now, for 3 months of the year, Persephone lives with me in the underworld. True to her word, Demeter stops tending to the plants on the earth and they die. You mortals call this time winter. Then each year on March
21st,
thank you, Persephone returns to Earth to bring the spring, and she stays for 9 months to help her mom. Then on December 21st, she comes back to me. You may think this is a strange arrangement, but for Persephone and me, it works just fine. Here, Hades, Persephone handed me a small wrapped box. I brought you a little going away presents. No kidding. I tore off the paper and opened it. A wallet, I said, trying to hide my disappointment. Oh, P-phone, you shouldn't have.
Okay. It's not just any old wallet, Hades. Persephone. Oh, it's not just any old wallet, Hades, Persephone said. I had it monogrammed, see? I flipped it over. Sure enough, gold letters were stamped into the leather. K-H-R-O-T-H. I looked up puzzled. Krotu? King Hades, ruler of the underworld, she explained. Persephone picked up the big hourglass I keep on my dresser and handed it to me. Put this in the wallet. You're kidding, right? I said, that thing is huge. Persephone gave me one of her looks, so I opened the wallet. To my surprise, it grew as I held it, and the hourglass slipped easily inside. And then the wallet returned to its original size right before my eyes. Wow, I exclaimed. How does it do that? Persephone shrugged. It's magical, she said. I ordered it from the Nymphs of the North catalog. It expands to hold whatever you want to carry. Then it shrinks down again so you can put it in your pocket. Oh, thank you so much, funny honey, I said. Okay.
And then it hit me. I hadn't gotten her anything. And about your, gift. Oh, stop, Hades, said Persephone. I know you didn't get me a present. I wanted to surprise you, that's all. But if you really want, you can take me to dinner tonight at the Underworld Grill. You're on, I said. Great, Persephone smiled. We have a set
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock reservation. And after dinner, you can take me to the concert at Elysium. Blue Cheese Blues is playing. They're so awesome. We had a good time. First thing the next morning, I hitched my steed, Harley and Davidson, to my biggest chariot and drove Persephone up to Earth. I took her right to the door of the little apartment she rented in Athens for the spring season and carried in her bags. They weighed a decaton. By the time I'd finished, I'd work up quite a dorsus. Old Greek speaks for God sweat.
Okay.
Bye, Hades, Persephone said, giving me a hug. I'll miss you. Bye, P-phone, I said. See you next weekend. I drove back to the underworld then. Charon ferried me across the river Styx, and I dropped the usual gold coin into his eager palm. Oh, and Lord Hades, Charon said, as I led Harley and Davidson off his boat. I hear there's a little problem over at Motel Styx. Motel Styx is the temporary quarters for ghosts who've just arrived in the underworld. When I rode over to check it out, I found that every toilet in the place was overflowing. Little problem? Ha! The new ghosts were howling and complaining. Some had even trashed their rooms in protest. It took me the rest of the day to get the plumbing ghosts over there to get the mess mopped up. At last, I headed back to my palace, Villa Pluto. I'd been working so hard all day, I hadn't had time to miss Persephone. But when I walked through the palace door, it hit me. Persephone wasn't there.
And she wouldn't be back for months. I sighed as I headed down the hall with Serby. Uh-oh, Tix exclaimed. When I walked into the den, she stared at me with her fierce red eyes. Someone is feeling very sorry for himself tonight. Okay, I miss Professony. Good Lord, it's hard to say. I said. I popped down in my Lazagod recliner with a chine Nicola. Nectacola, I guess. Nectacola, thank you. And cranked up the fortress.
Footrest.
Footrest.
Sorry.
Thank you. So how about we order a pizza and watch a little wrestling? Tish shook her head. The dozen of snakes that sprang from her scalp began hissing softly. Meg, Alec, and I have a full schedule of averaging head of us tonight. This and her sister are furries, whose job
Furies.
Furies. Sorry.
You got Dragon Gun on the brain.
Yeah, I know. Punish the wicked. Plus, we have to undo a punishment, she added. She scratched one glossy black wing, and then the other in preparation for her flight up to Earth. Remember that young mortal in Thebes? Thebes, I told you about. The one you wouldn't help his mother being the goat in from the posture? I asked. That's the one, Tiz nodded. Last week we gave him
him the red eye. We hypnotized him and made him think he was a goat. He was so funny, capering and trotting around with the herd. Even his mother thought so. But enough is enough. Tonight we'll go and bring him back to himself. Gotta run, Hades. Toodaloo. I waved as Sissy left. Well, Serby, I said, it's just you and me tonight, my boy. Cerberus didn't answer. I looked down and saw that he'd fallen asleep at my feet. Make that just me, I murmured. Feeling very much alone, I clicked on the TV. A cheerful announcer was saying, and for 50 drachma pledge, we'll send you the official Hugs Python tote bag. Oh no, I'd forgotten it was fundraising week on the wrestling channel. All matches were on hold until they reached their goal. Or for a pledge of only 200 drachmas, a picture of Hugs flashed onto the screen showing the snake wearing a silver wrestling belt. We'll send you a signed copy of Hugs' brand new autobiography, Squeeze Play.
I'm not a Hugs fan, but my little brother, Poseidon, is crazy for the snake. Poe's the ruler of the seas. At that time, he was going through a wild party god phase. He'd put blue streaks in his hair and was wearing one gold seahorse earring. He was always racing around in his coral red sea chariot convertible, trying to wow the sea goddesses. But still, Poe was good company. For years, it would just been the two of us, growing up together down in Dad's belly. But that's why, of all my brothers and sisters, Poe's the one I'm closest to, so I decided to give him a call. We gods have had phones and other high-tech gizmos for centuries, long before you mortals. But recently, Demeter's had invented a teeny little portable phone. She's done it for only one reason, to keep track of Persephone. But most of us gods got the little phones soon after. I hit the number of Poe's Island Palace on my
Hey, what up, y'all?
memory dial. Hey, Poe, I said when he picked up the phone. It's me, Hades.
Okay.
What's up? Hades, you old dog, said Poe. What's going on? Not much, I said. Persephone had to go back to Earth. You free to have dinner? Free as a fish, big bro, said Poe. Come on over. Be right there. I hopped up and out of my lazy god. Serby was still out, with two mouths snoring. See ya, pup. I hurried to the bedroom to get my helmet of darkness. It was a gift from my Cyclops uncles, and I never leave home without it. When I put it on, poof, I vanish. At least that's what happens 45% of the time.
There's a
The other
glossary in the
5%.
back.
I speak Greek. I got my Roman numerals, but it's 45 because the C
Is it
50,
45?
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, no, wait. No, it's 95%. That's what happens 95% of the
There
time.
we go.
The other 5%, the helmet spews sparks and shorts out. I slipped the helmet into my wallet and watched, amazed, as it shrank down again to pocket size. I had to hand it to Persephone. She'd got me an incredibly useful gift. What could I get her, I wondered, as I slipped my wallet into my robe pocket. I clipped my lunks, old Greek speak for flashlight, onto my girdle and headed for the stable. There, I hitched Harley
Okay.
and Davidson
to my small two-seater chariot and galloped up the earth. We gods can travel instantly to most places in the cosmos. We simply chant on astro traveling spell and zip. We're there. Where do you think zip codes come from? But astro
Nice.
traveling doesn't work to get us to or from the underworld. It takes most immortals 9 days to travel between Earth and my kingdom. Even I, the king of the place, have to travel the old-fashioned way, by foot, donkey, or chariot. Luckily, I know a super shortcut, and I got up to Earth that day in less than 2 hours. I galloped to Phantom's chariot garage outside Athens and parked in the short-term lot. Then I chanted the spell and zip. Seconds later, my feet touched down on the sands of Poe's Island. I headed up the crushed oyster shell walk to Cabana Claypole's Poe's
Calypso.
Palace. Calypso, thank you. Which is built entirely of seashells. One of Poe's sea nymphs. Let me in. Your brother is dressed in King Hades, she said.
I thanked her and headed down the hallway. Poe, I called. Joe in the bathroom, Hades, he answered. I walked back and found Poe grinning into his shell-decked mirror. Hey, hey, Hades, he said, slapping on my too much sea breeze cologne. Are you ready to party the night away, big brother? What are you talking about, Poe? I said. We're just having dinner. Don't drouse it, Hades, Poe said. We're still having dinner, only now we're being joined by 3 of the most gorgeous young moon goddesses this side of Olympus. His sea blue eyes lit up. I mean, they are lookers, Hades. Long, silky hair, nice. Hold it, I said. I'm not looking for a party tonight, Poe. You will be, big bro, said Poe. He grabbed my elbow and began pulling me down the hallway with him. First we'll go tubing. You won't believe my new dolphins, Hades. They're speed demons. They go about 200 decameters a second. It's like flying. Okay.
We try never to travel on water because I get seasick. Even rowboats make me feel queasy. But Poe dragged me down to his dock and yanked me into the sea chariot beside him. A big cooler sat on the back seat, along with inflated sea monster bladders that Poe used for tubing. Oh, and guess who else is joining us, bro? Said Poe. Zeus. Zeus? I cried. Why didn't you tell me? I just did. Poe revved up his dolphins. Lighten up, Hades, he shouted as we started bumping madly over the waves. The three of us haven't done anything fun together since the road trip down to the underworld when we sprang that Cyclops from jail. I couldn't yell over all the noise. Poe's new dolphins were real screechers, and with so much spray hitting me in the face, so I only nodded. Spending an evening with Poe in his party guy mode had its downside. But spending an evening with Zeus, that would be torture. I'd have to listen to this old Myth-O-Matic's endless bragging, his everlasting lies. What could be worse?
Okay.
Then Poe yelled, "We're meeting Zeus at Athena's brand new temple. It's only been open a couple of days. I thought it would be a fun spot for a moonlight picnic." "What?" I cried. "Have you lost your mind? Athena only allows mortals bearing really spectacular sacrifices to set foot in her temples. She considers this new temple to be the most sacred of them all. She'd go nuts if she thought we were going there for a picnic." I know, Poe yelled back. "That's why it'll be so much fun."
Okay.
Poe's new dolphin hydroplane over the waves. Islands went by in a blur. All I could do was hold on tight and try not to throw up. Plus, Poe's idea of a joke had made me break out in a cold Dorsus. If Athena caught anyone having a picnic at her new temple, she'll go ballistic. But if she caught Poe, there's no telling what she'd do. She and Poe had hated each other ever since a certain contest. Centuries ago, some crafty mortal said they would name their city after the gods who gave them the best gift. Both Poe and Athena wanted their names on the city. Poe banged his trident, his three-pronged spear, on a rock, and water burbled up in the spring. For her gift, Athena planted on an olive tree.
Some mortals liked the gift of water and wanted to name their city Poseidonville. Other mortals said the tree was better because it gave many gifts, safe from the sun, olive oil, and firewood. They argued back and forth. Arguing made them thirsty, so they bent down to drink from the spring. Yes! The water was salty like the sea, so the mortals quickly agreed to name their city after Athena. Ever since then, Poe had tried to get even with Athena every chance he got. Athena called Poe a sore loser. She couldn't stand him, and she was a champion grudgingly. The two were sworn enemies. At last, Poe slowed his dolphins. Athena's new temple loomed ahead of us, sparkling white in the moonlight. And there was Zeus, standing on the top. He was pumping a fist in the air. I'd have bet anything that he was chanting, "Party, party, party!" Oh, how I wanted to yank my helmet off my wallet, out of my wallet, put it on, and vanish into the salty night air. But if you've got brothers, especially,
younger brothers, then you know sometimes you just gotta stick things out. Or they'll call you names like Party Pooper or Bad Sack for the rest of your life. And since Zeus, Poe, and I are immortals, I'd have to listen to their taunting basically forever. Poe saw Zeus and went for a show-off landing. He sped up his dolphins, and we whizzed around toward the island. Just as we were about to crash into it, Poe let go of the reins. The dolphins made a tight right turn, and the chariot kept going straight, sliding halfway up into the white sand beach. "All right," cried Poe, jumping out of the chariot. "Are those dolphins crazy or what?" "Go, Poe," said Zeus. "Hades," he added when he saw me. "Who invited you?" "Good to see you too, Zeus," I muttered, stepping onto dry land at last. "Where are the minor moon goddesses, Poe?" said Zeus. "You said they'd be here." Poe looked out to sea. "Here they come! Looks like they borrowed their old man's chariot." A sea chariot shaped like a crescent moon.
Okay.
Heading our way, drawn by a team of giant seahorses. I knew that chariot. It belonged to Phorcys, the wise old sea god who'd gladly given up his power when Poe came along to rule the seas. Now I knew which moon goddesses Poe was talking about. Phorcys' daughters, Ino, Riley, and Medusa. They were goddess friends of Persephone's and had been our guests at our wedding. The seahorses stopped in the surf. The moon goddesses hopped out of the chariot and began wading to shore. They rolled over the moon's pull on the ocean tides and weren't afraid to get their feet wet. "Hey, moon ladies!" called Poe, waving his trident. "Poe," called Medusa, "can you give us a ride home later? Dad wants us to send the chariot back." "No problemo," Poe replied. Medusa whistled to the seahorses, and they took off again. Poe elbowed me. "Check out Medusa's hair, Hades," he said. "Gorgeous, huh?"
Okay.
I
I
nodded.
know. No. All three goddesses had beautiful, silky hair. Ino was a blonde and Riley a redhead. Medusa's hair was black and so shiny that it reflected the silvery moonlight. "Hey, Hades," Medusa called as she reached the shore. Then she stopped, suddenly, looking up at Athena's temple. "I thought you said this was your temple, Poe." "Right." I can't do the Bob voice, said Poe. "Yeah, so how do you like my new temple anyways?" "Very nice," said Medusa. "But why is there an owl on the top? Didn't Athena claim the owl as her mascot?" "Owl?" said Poe. "Oh, you mean that owl? Yeah, well, that's a sea owl," Zeus lied quickly. "Flies sometimes, swims other times. Amazing creatures, really." I couldn't believe my brothers. Once was a mythomaniac, and the other went along with his lies. They remember me of our dad, Kronos, a truly slimy titan. I took after our mother, Rhea. "So who's up for a little high-speed tubing?" called Poe.
Okay. "We are," said the goddesses. Poe whistled for those dolphins, and they came leaping through the surf almost to the shore. Poe pushed his sea chariot into the shallow water and hitched up his team. Again. "I can only take 3 at a time," said Poe. "Who wants to go?" "Me," said Zeus. "Go on," Medusa called to her sister. "I'll go next friend." Ino, Riley, and Zeus waded out to the chariot, jumped in, and they sped off. "What a nice surprise to see you, Hades," Medusa said, sitting down on the dock. "Is Persephone around?" I shook my head. "She has to work. You know, it's spring. You know it's spring, and she's the goddess of it. I'll go see her on weekends." "What's happening with you?" "Well, I just got back from visiting my 3 older sisters," Medusa said. "I didn't know you had any other sisters," I said. "I didn't either," said Medusa. "But the other night, Mom happened to mention something." "Okay."
"About the Gray sisters? I got her to tell me all about them. Turns out they have some, unfortunate physical characteristics. Oddballs, huh? I said. Very odd, Medusa nodded. Mom said it gave her the willies to look at them, so she sent them off to live on a mountaintop. My grandpa, Sky Daddy, did the same thing with some of his kids. I shook my head. 3 of his sons had one big eye in the middle of their foreheads, and the 3 others had 50 heads and 100 arms apiece. Sky Daddy couldn't believe his children were such misfits, so he hurled them down to Tartarus, the fiery pit in what's now my kingdom, and had them locked up in jail. That stinks, said Medusa. It's so unfair to judge gods or goddesses or even mortals by the way they look. Mom feels bad about what she did. She agreed to let me tell everybody in the family about the Gray sisters. Now they'll have plenty of visitors on their mountaintop, and maybe someday they'll come out of hiding. That would be great, I said. Poe, Zeus, and...
Okay. You can go ahead, Jade. I don't know what happened to Bob. I think he had internet problems or something.
I rescued our uncles. They live down in the underworld now. I see them all the time, and they don't even notice their looks. Every family has its share of strange ducks. I guess, said Medusa. I tried to talk Eno and Riley into visiting the Gray sisters, but all they ever want to do is stay around here and go to Poe's parties. Weren't you the ones dancing all night with Poe at our wedding reception, I said. Medusa smiled. Poe's persistent. I say that for him, and I love to dance. While I talked to Medusa, I kept an eye out for Athena. She wasn't like the rest of us gods. She wasn't even born in the usual way, but sprang fully grown from Zeus' head, wearing a helmet and armor and waving a spear. She came ready-made to be the goddess of war. What a temper. The least little things set her off, and she absolutely forbid any fooling around near her temples. Once some how do you say that? Naiads, little water nymphs, were in a river beside one of her temples swimming.
Okay, and frolicking. Athena was so furious that she blasted them with a dog head spell. Instantly, those nymphs grew muzzles, wet black noses, and long floppy ears. And since Athena had tricked the muse Calliope into teaching her to deliver her curses in verse, which made them incredibly powerful, the poor naiads still have dog heads to this day. I didn't even want to imagine what sort of curse Athena might utter if she found Medusa and me yanking in her sacred spot. At last, we heard dolphins screeching, and Poe landed the chariot. He hoisted the cooler out of the back seat. "We're hungry," he said. "Who's ready for some eats?" "Me!" cried Zeus. Riley ran off down the beach. The rest of us sat down around a cloth Poe had spread out on the sand. I handed out nectar-colas while Poe passed around a big platter of sushio, a little delicacy he had invented made of raw bits of fish wrapped in seaweed. Medusa and Eno helped themselves to several pieces each, okay?
But Zeus growled, "What's this stuff? Looks like bait." For once, I agreed with Zeus. "It's sushio," said Poe. "The deluxe platter. Tuna ambrosia rolls. The works." "Is this all you brought?" asked Zeus. It was. Zeus and I had to content ourselves with our nectar-colas. "Ta-da!" Riley called from down the beach. We all turned and saw that she sculpted a dolphin out of the sparkling white sand. "Whoa," said Poe. "That's life-size." Anybody can make a fish, scoffed Zeus. Now make something for the king of the gods. Easy, Riley said, and proved it by quickly sculpting a giant T-bolt. Then she came over and finished off the sushios. So, Poe, I said, jumping to my feet. Ready to call it a night? Sit down, you dolt, said Zeus. Don't go, Hades, said Enno. She held up a small Kamara, old Greek speak for camera. I want to take a group shot with the temple in the background.
Okay.
No, I cried. The last thing we needed was absolute proof that we'd been picnicking at Athena's temple. But Eno popped up and scurried off toward the water. Then she turned and pointed her camera at us. Smile, Poe, she said. Smile, Riley! Look at the birdies. Lighten up, Hades. I made a feeble attempt. Say cheese, Medusa! Click. Got it! If it's any good, I'll send you God's copies. No copies! I yelled. Everyone looked at me as if I were some sort of nutcase. I mean, why go to the trouble, Eno? Okay, it's late. Time to go home. Hades, stop fussing, Zeus growled. We just got here. Why, the moon goddesses haven't even had a tour of Poseidon's new temple yet. He gave me a wicked wink and sprang to his feet. Riley, come, let me show you the temple. It's magnificent. Wait, I cried. I had to keep my brothers out of Athena's temple. Why don't we go visit one of the other islands around here?
I pointed. Look. That one over there is deserted. We could be the first god to ever foot on it. Big whoopsie, said Zeus. Come on, ladies. Poe's temple waits. My mind flashed back to the time our mom, Rhea, had taken me, her firstborn, aside. He asked me to keep an eye on my sibling, to make sure they stayed out of trouble. Had she known at the time how impossible hard this would be. I had 5 brothers and sisters. Hestia behaved herself.
I think there's some echoing or something, feedback on your
No.
On mine?
Oh, okay, Kate. I'm sorry about that. Hi, Kate. I'm sorry, we're just gonna pause for a second. Thank you so much for joining us. You said you had to leave at 9:15 and you stayed later, so
Stayed
thank
extra.
you so much.
This was phenomenal. I can't tell you, I enjoyed it. I would never have read the prologue if I knew you all were professional actors.
Oh,
Wow, you were amazing.
we're just
Yes.
having fun. This is
Yes.
nothing. This is very informal. We're just having a great time.
Yeah.
I love it. But can I take a picture of you guys?
Absolutely.
Oh, my grandson discovering this book and even get a kick out of it.
You can absolutely take a picture of us. Take a picture of us.
That's hilarious.
I know, right?
You know, here we can print. We'll print a screenshot.
Can you take my square off?
You're,
So I'm in it, or do you want me to be in it?
Yes, we want you in
Yes,
it.
we want you to be in
you
it.
want to be in it.
Okay.
Take a screenshot of the screen you sent to her, Tammy.
Yes.
All right, I will send it to you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
agreeing
you.
to come and talk to us. We had an amazing time. You all rest well, and you tell Jim thank you so much for his time, and we look forward to possibly chatting with you again.
It could happen.
It could.
Take care.
You take care.
Thank you very much.
You guys are
Pleasure.
awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I can figure out how to get out of here. Wait a minute.
Just click the little button in the bottom right corner that says leave.
Yep, in the bottom right.
My screen had gone little.
There we go.
Okay.
Figured it out.
That's funny.
Alrighty then. So we shall continue. And who was reading?
It was me, but I'm trying to
James.
remember. I'll just start from Eno grabbed. Is that okay?
Yeah, the camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grab for camera.
Yep.
Okay.
Eno grabbed her camera. Let's go, she cried. Coming, Medusa, said Zeus. No thanks, said Medusa. I'm enjoying sitting here talking to your brother. Hades, Zeus looked confused. You like talking to him, Medusa laughed. Of course, she said, and it warms my heart to hear it. Zeus shrugged, all right. Last one up to the temple is a rotten onion. Old Greek slang for rotten egg.
Okay. Zeus, Eno, and Riley raced up the temple steps. You were just waiting for me to show you my temple, right, Medusa, said Poe. Not really, Poe, she said. If you've seen one temple, you've seen them all. Not this temple, said Poe. It's incredible. Sculpture all over the walls. I promise you've never seen anything like it. Let me give you a little tour. Medusa rolled her eyes. Okay, Poe, she said, standing up. She looked back over her shoulder at me. Oh, come on, Hades. I shook my head. I figured I'd stay put and keep an eye out for Athena. Hold on, y'all. Okay. I shook my head. I figured I'd stay put and keep an eye out for Athena. If she showed up, maybe I could keep her busy on the beach until everybody had a chance to get out of the temple. Poe and Medusa started up the stairs. I started pacing. A temple tour would take 5 minutes tops. After all, the inside of a temple is a single affair. There's one altar where mortals put room temperature offerings, such as an ear of corn, a sheaf of wheat, or a nice cheese ball. Okay.
A second altar holds the offerings to be set on fire. Smoked turkey, lamb burgers, toasted cheese sandwiches, and has a chimney over it for channeling the sweet-smelling smoke up to Mount Olympus. The time dragged on. What, I wondered, could Poe be showing Medusa that was taking so long? I counted to 50, then ran up the temple stairs. I stepped through the arched doorways and onto Athena's temple. The walls were all covered in carvings of olive leaves, a little reminder of Athena's victory over Poe. On the ceiling, various immortals brandishing spears, axes, swords, and other weapons of war. Athena had clearly spent a bundle on decor. Zeus, Eno, and Riley stood at the far end of the room by the burnt offering table. Zeus was bragging, and the goddesses from the Himalaya, Poe and Medusa were sitting on the other offering table, looking up at the ceiling sculptures. Right next to Poe was some scrumptious-looking sliced salami that a mortal had left for Athena. I thought about taking some, but Nectar Cola hadn't exactly filled me up. But I quickly...
Okay.
Thought better of it. If Athena ever found out, I'd be toast. You'll be able to see it better if you lean a little closer, Poe was saying. Give it up, Poe. Medusa laughed. All right, time to go, I called. We gotta get out of here. Medusa turned and saw me. She opened her mouth as if she were about to say, "Hey, Hades, am I ever glad to see you?" Something like that. But she never got the chance. A sudden flash lit the room. The clang of metal hitting marble made my ichor, old Greek speak, the god blood, run cold. I turned, and there, in the doorway, stood Athena.
Okay, chapter number and title, please, James.
Chapter 3, Horrible Monsters. Athena's gray eyes flashed angrily. Poseidon! I should have guessed, she hissed. An owl was perched on her shoulder. It glared at us too. What are y'all doing in my temple? No one answered. The sound of flapping wings broke the silence. I glanced up and saw a pigeon fly up from the burnt offering chimney. I didn't even have a look back down to know that when I did, Zeus would be missing. How like him to morph into a pigeon and fly away, rather than stick around to face his sizzling mad daughter. Athena's face was red, her helmet glowed with a fierce, hot light. Emptied Nicola cans on my porch, she said, poking in Poe's direction.
Okay. With her spear. Half-eaten fish parts. You've been picnicking in my temple? Huh? Eno's camera fell from her hand, and she and Riley huddled behind Medusa, peeking out from behind her. I spoke up. We're sorry, Athena. I know it looks bad, but looks bad? Looks bad? Athena cut me off, I'll say, and it's about to look a whole lot worse. She fixed her gaze on Medusa. You lowly goddess with the dark hair. Who are you? Echoed Athena's owl. Medusa? The moon goddess answered, taking a step forward. Ah, Medusa. Athena nodded slowly. I've seen you before. She glanced at her. She's the one you're always going on and on about, isn't she? Right, Pogren. She's the one. Medusa, Athena repeated bitterly. You who enjoy the attention of the sea god. You who arrange picnics at temples where you had no business being. You are about to be punished. Hold it, Athena, I said. The picnic wasn't Medusa's idea! Okay?
What? Athena snapped. I eyed Poe. I gestured for him to speak up, to tell Athena that he was the one with the bright idea of picnicking at her temple. But Poe wouldn't meet my gaze. I tried again. Athena, Poe and I were the ones. Be quiet, Hades, warned Athena. This is my temple. I have the power here. But Athena, I began. That was as far as I got. Athena pointed at me and chanted. Once, I told you twice, so now I freeze you hard as ice. I felt a jolt as my anchor turned to ice. I couldn't move a muscle. I couldn't say a word. Athena had zapped me with a freezing curse. Me, a major god. I had no idea her curses in verse were that powerful. Athena smiled and then turned to Poe. Not a word out of you, Poseidon, or I'll freeze you so.
Okay.
Fast, you won't know what hit you. Now watch while I gorgonize your little girlfriend. Athena raised her hands towards Medusa and began chanting. Hair-proud goddess, vain and haughty, how you'll wish you'd never been naughty. How you'll weep for insulting Athena. Some goddesses are mean, but I'm much meaner. Look in the mirror, you'll get shivers and shakes. Your long, thick hair is now a nest of snakes. Instantly, Medusa's hair twisted itself into dozens of long, dark braids. The braids began to pulse and throb. Then each one sprang horribly to life as a writhing green serpent. Eno and Riley screamed. Said Athena. You get some too! She pointed a finger at them, and their hair turned to snakes. Eno's were yellow with thin black stripes. Riley's snakes were bright-eyed. Ooh-hoo! Athena's owl hooted. The poor moon goddesses, they needed help.
Okay.
I tried
to break out of my icy state, but I was frozen solid. Athena was finished. She chanted, "Don't look now. You got bulging eyes. Your teeth are tusks of enormous sizes." Athena's pointed at each helpless goddess in turn. Their eyes bugged out. Huge boar's tusks shot from their gums. After a satisfied smirk, Athena kept going. Vile-smelling drool drips from your jaws. Your skin is scaly. Your feet have claws. Athena was out of control. Frozen or not, I had to do something. Athena was powerful, but I, the firstborn of the great gods, was a powerful god myself. I ruled a kingdom of fire, and eternal flames and rivers of burning lava. I shut my eyes, took a deep breath, and called upon the red-hot heat of my underworld kingdom. Warmth began to flow up.
Through the soles of my feet and into my body, the temperature of my ichor rose getting hotter. Athena chanted, "Your growing wings that are hard and shiny, and tails with spikes are sprouting out of your height." Stop! I cried. Whoo! The owl hooted in surprise. Yes, fire had won over ice. I'd broken out of Athena's spell. Hades! How dare you, Athena cried. I'm not finished here. Oh, yes, you are, Athena, I said. Eno and Riley looked at each other and burst into tears. Medusa put her arms around her sister's shoulders, trying to comfort them. You won't be upset. The once lovely goddesses now had snakes for hair, bulbous eyes, tufts, tails, claws, and wings. I wished I could have spoken up sooner, but at least I'd kept them from sprouting tails. Okay.
Tails? Really? That's the worst? Okay. Oh, they're monsters, Poe moaned. Horrible monsters! Poe's words seemed to cheer Athena. She tilted her helmeted head to the side, studying her creations. Then she muttered a few words to her owl. The bird rose from her shoulders and swooped down to where Eno's camera had fallen. The bird picked it up in its talons and flew with it back to her mistress. "Thank you, Who," said Athena. She pointed the camera at the Gorgons. Athena laughed. "Now you can remember this moment forever, monster. Tell us what you like, Athena," Medusa said. "But we know who we are. We are the daughters of Phorcys, a wise old god of the sea. We will survive, for we are also wise." I admired Medusa for standing up to Athena, but when she claimed to be wise, I braced myself. After all, Athena is officially goddess of wisdom. Under the circumstances, it wasn't a good idea for Medusa to step on her goddess's turf.
Okay.
Wise, are you, Medusa? Athena shrieked. Not wise enough to know when to keep your mouth shut. Pointed to me. Began to chant again.
We can't hear you.
Medusa. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Medusa, here's a curse for you alone. Whoever sees your face shall be turned to stone. Gods or mortals, there's no place to hide. One peek at you and they're petrified. Oh, clapped his hand over his eye. He wasn't taking any chances. I looked away too. I felt like a traitor, but I wanted to help the Gorgons, and I couldn't do that if I got turned into stone. Your curse is weak, Athena, said Medusa. My sisters are gazing at my face right now, and they haven't turned to stone. Oh, so you want them to turn to stone, cried Athena. No problem. Quick, sisters, cried Medusa. Fly! Flapping. But this time, of great, powerful wings, as the Gorgons flew up and circled over our heads.
Okay.
I get you. I'll get you, Gorgons, Athena cried after them. Fly out of the temple, Medusa called. Flapping her wings, Riley, flee quickly. Tails with spikes, Athena screamed. Tails with scales. Tails so heavy your wings won't lift. You're off the ground. You have to crawl like lizards. As Athena ranted, the Gorgons swooped out through the arch doorway of the temple and vanished into the night.
And we are going to stop right there.
Wow, that's intense.
Yes, it is.
That was rough.
It totally is.
That was fun.
Yeah, right? Good job, James. Welcome.
Thank you.
One of us. Gooble gobble, one of us.
Yes.
I mean, as if I
very...
didn't already have a reason to dislike Zeus, this...
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right.
Actually,
right.
And Poe. And Poseidon. I like Poseidon.
Yeah,
I've always liked Poseidon. This really painted him very poorly.
It really did. It really did.
And I've always liked him, but now, oh my God.
Yeah, as immature, they went and snuck in her palace and did not speak up to let them.
Him not speaking up was the worst. That was really the worst.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Poe. He should have been the main one
totally.
Because Hades was trying to get, he was like, you guys don't hurry up.
I mean, Zeus is her dad. Like, Zeus could have shut that down. That's her father. He could have been like, stop.
He turned into a bird and flew up out of there.